Long time no see. Welcome back to Fractal Trading. This is France. What are major trends doing? Here we are looking at the Nikkei index. And last time we spoke, even though that is 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were mentioning the uptrend that is happening, and again, price moving back into the balance zone. Now, if the balance zone doesn't tell you anything, you want to look at my video and watch it called My Trend Following Approach Explained. Here you can see the market retracing heavily over the course of 5 weeks into the balance zone, hitting the lower kind of border of it, the blue line, and we opened last Sunday right below that border, and that was the level of 18,200. We just went below it a little bit, and from there this week we just see a major rejection. Let's see if the balance zone is acting here as support, and our longs from down here. We have a lot of fractals in here. We have a lot of breakouts that you can take for long-term trend following that will keep you in this market, as we are only exiting when a fractal inside the balance zone is hit, and we don't have a fractal inside the balance zone here yet. We might get one below the low of this week. We'll see if the market has enough strength to run up more. If we are taken out on this stop here, we are exiting with a little bit of profit. Right now our stop is located right here in the breakout area to break even, depending on where we entered. We have a fractal here. We also have fractals here, which are all valid entry points. So you would put your stop at the break even level, which keeps you in this market. You're waiting for the fractal inside the balance zone that will take you out. It's not there yet. Maybe this week will yield one right below the balance zone. That would also be fine. We'll just trade the trend as it moves. Remember, we are always looking to go into the direction of the overall trend. And here is the monthly chart where we have this huge up move, a correction. The momentum oscillator goes below the zero line, which means major correction. And now we're set up for a huge move to the upside. That's a theory behind our long position on the weekly. Now this monthly chart retraced here, it's going to give us a fractal up here, then it's going to break out to the upside if the scenario we are still assuming remains true. Therefore we are holding our longs, we are waiting for the fractal to be formed right there. We pull the stop there, and then we'll just let the market go. This is really annoying. This has been almost 4 months now where the market hasn't gone anywhere. It has retraced. Not good, really painful to sit through, but that's what you got to do as the trend follower. We have some new stuff coming up in the metals. Gold here shows us a valid breakout 3 weeks ago. We mentioned that. It's already marked here. I marked it again. Now we have the resistance, that was internal resistance, being taken out, and we're moving higher. This weekly chart is not even that interesting. What's more interesting is the monthly, because the monthly could be setting up for something really great. When you take a look, you have this huge move to the upside ever since the beginning of the 2000s into 2011 before that drop happens. That drop, though, is nothing more than the usual correction, and what you get is a breakout fractal at that point that I just marked. You have your correction, the price turns above the balance zone, gives you that fractal, retraces, doesn't go lower than the low of the correction, and then heads out taking the fractal. And we're waiting for that to happen here. The fractal is at 1375.76, and here we have a weekly fractal, an internal fractal, so to speak, that takes the market long when it's above the balance zone on the overall time frame. It's above the balance zone on the weekly time frame where we trade, and we are headed towards that breakout point now. We are taking this long on the weekly because of a tight risk management. We don't take too much risk. Watch my risk management video if you don't know how that goes. It's one of the most important parts of trading. It's more important than your trading methodology, so you should definitely watch that video if you don't know how to manage your money in your trading account. So this is just a chance of a long trade that goes to the upside, that's approaching the breakout on the overall time frame. The first opportunity internally on the weekly if we just switch back to it to get into this market. And this could be a great new long. The same situation is true for silver. We're not going to look at it now though. Let's take a look at the British pound Australian. This was a market of interest for a very long time, but now it has finished. It has given everything it has to offer. We have breakouts happening here in the trend direction. We have another one here, and in the previous videos I pointed out more breakouts at this fractal and right below there. However, the market retraced into the balance zone, giving us a new fractal where the current stop is located, and it turned down. Now we had this huge move to the upside, which violated the balance zone. We don't see any retracement, any resistance in here that the market would continue lower. Depending on how you exit trends, you could have a stop here above the fractal. You could exit as the market closes inside the balance zone or just above the red line, which is the kind of average of the balance zone. I have another video on how to exit trends. Maybe you want to watch that at that point. Anyhow, this trend did get going quite well here in this area, but the last couple of months were just boring and nothing happened, and now we're most likely being stopped out. Depending on what stop you use, you are already stopped out. Let's take another look at last market here, US dollar index. Let me remove this kind of stuff because it's not important anymore. We have buy points in here, like I mentioned in the past. We have the market coming up, retracing, giving us a fractal inside the balance zone. We are stopping out. We have been stopped out 4 weeks ago, as I mentioned back then. Now, depending on how aggressive you are, because of the divergence down here, because of market structure in general, you have your up move, your internal correction, a higher high, you have a major correction in this area, and then yet again a higher high with momentum not rising to the levels where it's been in this huge trend here. When this is the case, and you should watch my trend following approach explained video at that point if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can take this market short if you are a little bit more aggressive. Now your overall time frame is not going to line up with the trend, which means you would have to have a higher time frame that shows you markets going lower, but that's not the case in here now. You would take this short for lower prices, even though the higher time frame will still be above the balance zone. If we just take a look at the monthly here, as you can see, we do not have a penetration of the balance zone yet. Market's still above us, above it. That still doesn't mean we can't go much lower quickly here, approaching these old kind of supply levels. We'll see. You definitely want to, just like in gold, take a lot of care of your risk, not risking more than 1% at all, maybe much lower, because you're going against the trend. You cannot expect a huge move, a stable move, giving you possibility for add-on positions in this market down here. You have to expect a retracement from these lows, maybe already even here. We never know where the huge supply, in this case supply, is going to lie. Therefore, be careful when you short into what overall is still going up. That's it for this week. I hope you find this useful. Leave a comment, like the video if that's something that you like, and I see you soon, maybe next week again, depending on how much time I have. Lots of stuff going on. I got people over from the US this week, and there's also lots of other stuff that keeps me busy. So, see you soon, guys.